Namaste everyone, I'm your co-host Shawnee ma'am. Welcome to your favorite learning channel. The topic for today's video is female reproductive system and ovum. Okay, so female and male have different reproductive system, but today here we'll be discussing about the female reproductive system mainly. In our next segment of videos we will be talking about the male reproductive system as a separate system. Okay, so there are different parts of this female reproductive system. First, let's begin with the ovary. Okay, so ovaries they produce female gamete, and this female gamete is known as the female egg or ovum. We'll be talking about the ovum or the female egg separately a little later. Okay, now these ovaries are, there are two ovaries. One is the right and left, there are two ovaries, and every month what happens is a single matured egg is released from only one of the two ovaries. Okay, then let's see what is fallopian tube. This is the fallopian tube. It is also known as the oviduct. So it is the tube like structure that is present between the ovaries. Okay, it is present between the ovaries and the uterus. This is uterus and this is ovary, so it is present between the uterus and the ovaries, and this tube like structure is called fallopian tube or the oviduct. So the ovum released from the ovary reaches the uterus through this fallopian tube. This fallopian tube actually carries the mature egg or ovum released by the ovaries to the uterus. Okay, then let's see what is uterine fundus. So it is the top portion of uterus. This is uterus and we can see it is the top portion of uterus, and it is present opposite from the cervix. This is the cervix at the other end and it is present opposite to the cervix. Okay, then there is uterus. This is the uterus. So uterus is shaped as an inverted pear. We can see that it is shaped like an inverted pear, and it is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvis. It is the site, this is very important, that uterus is actually the site for implantation of the zygote and complete fetal development. So uterus is basically the site for the implantation of zygote and the complete developmental process of the fetus. Okay, then let's talk about the fimbriae. So here we can see that these are finger like small projections at the end of the fallopian tube, and these fimbriae are connected to the ovary. Then there is ovarian ligament. Okay, so this is a fibrous ligament that connects ovary to the lateral surface of the uterus. This is uterus, and the ovarian ligament, which is the fibrous ligament, helps in connecting the ovary to the lateral surface of the uterus. Okay, now then the wall of the uterus, this is the wall of the uterus that consists of three layers. They are endometrium, myometrium and perimetrium. So what is endometrium then? It is the inner glandular layer lining the uterine cavity. This endometrium undergoes cyclical changes during the menstrual cycle. Then there is myometrium, which is the middle thick layer. We can see that, and this thick layer is made up of smooth muscles, and this myometrium undergoes strong contractions during the delivery of the baby. Then there is perimetrium, which is the external thin membranous layer. Okay, then let's talk about the cervix. So what is cervix? It is the lower part of the uterus. This is uterus and its lower part is the cervix, and it connects the uterus to the vagina. Vagina and uterus are connected by the help of cervix, and the cavity of cervix, this is the cavity of cervix, which is called the cervical canal. And finally there is vagina. So vagina is a tube-like structure. It extends from the cervix. It is extending from the cervix to outside of the body. It is the site for sperm deposition at the time of coitus. It functions as a way for the menstrual flow and also as a passage for the baby to come out during the vaginal delivery. Okay. So now, as I had already said, that we'll be discussing about the ovum or female egg at a later stage. Let's see what is ovum or egg. Okay. So ovum, or we can call the same thing as egg. So the female gamete is known as ovum. What is ovum? The female gamete is known as ovum or egg. And as we had discussed earlier, that this ovum or egg is released by the ovary. Okay. So egg is a single cell and its size varies depending on the species. For example, human egg, if we talk about human egg, it is very small, whereas egg of ostrich is the largest cell. It is the largest cell. So the size of the egg depends on the species. Okay. Then another important thing is the process of release of what? Of eggs, or we can say ova, from the ovaries. This process is called as what? This process is called ovulation. Okay, so the process of release of eggs or ova from the ovaries is called, or it is known as, the process of ovulation. Now let's quickly revise the things that we have studied today. So today we discussed about the female reproductive system and ovum. Okay, so first we talked about ovaries. So they produce female gamete, that is known as the female egg or ovum. There are two ovaries, right and left ovaries, and every month a single mature egg is released from only one of the two ovaries. Okay. Then there is fallopian tube, that is also known as the oviduct. So the tube structure present between the ovaries and the uterus is called the fallopian tube or the oviduct. So the ovum released by the ovaries is carried by the fallopian tube to the uterus. Okay. So then there is uterine fundus. So it is the top portion of the uterus that is present opposite to the cervix. Then there is uterus. So it is shaped as an inverted pear and it is supported by ligaments that are attached to the pelvis, and it is the site for implantation of the zygote and the complete fetal development. Okay. Then we also saw what was fimbriae. So fimbriae are the finger like small projections that are present at the end of the fallopian tube and they connect to the ovary. Then there is ovarian ligament. So this is a fibrous ligament that connects the ovary to the lateral surface of the uterus. Then the wall of the uterus has three layers: endometrium, myometrium and perimetrium. Endometrium is the innermost layer. It is the glandular lining of the uterine cavity and it undergoes cyclical changes during the menstrual cycle. Then there is myometrium, which is the middle thick layer of smooth muscle. It performs strong contraction during the delivery of the baby. Then there is perimetrium. So perimetrium is the external thin membranous layer. Then there is cervix. So cervix is the lower part of the uterus and connects the uterus to the vagina. And then the cavity of the cervix is called the cervical canal, and then finally there is vagina. So it is a tube like structure that extends from the cervix to the outside of the body, and it is the site for sperm deposition. Here the sperm deposition takes place at the time of coitus, and it also functions as a way of the menstrual flow, and also as a passage for the baby to come out during the vaginal delivery. Then we talked about the ovum, which is the female gamete. Okay, the ovum or the egg is the female gamete, and we already know that the ovum or the female egg are produced by the ovaries. So this, the egg is a single cell, and the size of the egg varies depending on the species. For example, human egg is very small, whereas the egg of ostrich is the largest cell. Okay, then the process by which the eggs or ova are released from the ovaries is called the process of ovulation. Okay, so I hope you all would have got some great insights by watching today's video. Please do not forget to like and share the video. Till then, thank you for watching.